Hello, everyone. My name is Walter Miclo, and I am sitting here with Mr. Allan Virgo. Mr. Virgo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Virgo is a fashion designer of Jamaican origin. He specializes in the design of women's outerwear. His work has been seen in British Vogue. He has been on the design teams of Michael Kors and Guess Incorporated, and he launched his own fashion line in the year 2012. Again, Mr. Virgo, welcome to our show here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I wonder if there is any moment in your early years that you can point to at which you can say your interest in fashion began and your interest in fashion design.
It's funny because I feel like a lot of designers, when you hear they talk about how, they started out, a lot of them would say that, they were, they probably grew up watching their mom dress. But for me, I would have said that I had no interest in fashion when I was a kid. I didn't even know what the word fashion is. I discovered all of that when I was 19 or around 20 when I came to America. But I could say that my mom was a seamstress in Jamaica, and she used to work in the garment factories. And she also used to bribe me with money to buy sweets, to come into her studio and cut out bits of fabric. So I would say that's actually where it started, when I was younger, a toddler. Not a toddler, but, much younger.
So your experience began with hands-on handling of materials and fashion materials.
Yes. She used to say, okay, I'll give you I think maybe a quarter or something back then, and say if you cut out these squares, because back then I think the trend was to piece these squares together and then make them into either dresses or skirts or blouse or something like that. It was a tedious process, and she didn't want to do it, so she had me do it. I also had a love for fine arts and for drawing and being creative. So that I did know, but in terms of just specifically fashion, I didn't know that I wanted to be in fashion until I came to New York.
Is there any particular path or process or procedure that you use in order to approach the problem of a fashion design?
For me, it starts for me with how I'm feeling. It starts for me with the mood. It starts for me with with fabrics and music. And then after that, then maybe there might be an idea that comes about, and then I start working on it. Or it could be maybe I might see a garment and I might say, how can you make it better, and I might start thinking about it and then coming up with different solutions.
At the time you got into fashion design, were there any fashion designers whose work you admired a lot and whom you tried to copy or whom you tried to build upon?
I'm a big fan of Alexander McQueen. I'm a big fan of John Galliano. And I'm a big fan of Dries Van Noten. And also I'm a big fan of all the Japanese designers like Comme des Garçons, Yohji Yamamoto. And I would say all of these designers inspires me and are designers that when I just started out, I kind of looked to kind of see what they were doing and all of that stuff. But I feel like even when you're inspired by other designers or other creative person, it always end up being you, because you can only be you. When you're a fashion designer or you're a creative, you never know. You might just go to the museum, or you might just be driving and you might be looking through out through the car, and there's just something that triggers something, and then that triggers something else, and that triggers something else, So there's always a chance of, something, inspiring me. I love art. I go to the museum a lot. Music inspires me, because music definitely, when I'm working, I'm always playing music. I also like music videos, the way people dress in music videos and all of that stuff, because I think music videos are a reflection of the culture, And as a designer, you always want to be current,
Looking at the two collections which you have shown so far, and a third in preparation, I noticed that there is a great leap forward from collection 1 to collection 2. In collection 1, you focus on solid colors, uniform shapes, and in collection 2, you mix and match some colors. Different color panels appear in different places, and you seem to favor more belts in the second clothing line. Is there any kind of articulation that we see developing here?
Well, the first collection, I wanted it to be very commercial because I wanted it to be extremely sellable, and also too, like the first collection, I wanted it to be the foundation of other collections. So that collection was really more about silhouettes, and so I really try to resist doing anything like too creative, trying to play too much with colors. But after that collection, I felt like I was free to kind of like run wild and do what I wanted. I love like colors, and I love mixing different colors together. I'm from Jamaica, and Jamaicans love color. So the second collection, I wanted to definitely try to incorporate color in the collection, and I wanted it to be like, to have like color blocking, because you never see a lot of colors and bright colors in outerwear.
Do you prefer a haute couture look, or an informal look, or a down and dirty look, or something like that?
It's definitely have to be down and dirty all the way. No, I'm just kidding. For me, I'm very interested in diversity. So I'm very interested in people from different ethnic backgrounds, different ethnic group, and that's one of the things that I always want to highlight in my brand. I tend to like models who are not very pretty in terms of like like what society think of as pretty. I like if they have something that's a little bit off about them. Maybe they might have like a big nose, or their eyes might be too wide, or there's something, because I feel like people where everything is very perfect, like face wise or body wise, tends to be uninteresting. That's just how I see it. So yeah, I'm always looking for models that I feel like from different ethnic background that I feel like are very unique and different.
How do you see yourself 10 or 15 years from now?
Wow, 10 or 15 years from now, man. I don't think I've thought so far along, but if I could say, I would definitely want to be doing, still be doing fashion. I definitely would love my business to grow and it to be much bigger than it is right now. And I just really want to continue to like touch the hearts of people with my designs and my clothes. So yeah, if 15 years from now I still get to do that, I'll be very happy.
Is there anything that inspires you about the Bronx in particular that translates into your fashion designs?
Well, I'm big on culture, and I always try to reflect that in my brand, in my clothes, in what I design. One of the things that I love about the Bronx is that it's very cultural. Like you find Latinos, you find Jamaicans, you find whites, you find black, you find people of all different backgrounds, and here in the Bronx, and that's one of the things that strikes me and you can draw from all the different cultures, and I do that, and I incorporate that in my work all the time. So I love living in the Bronx, and I love like going out and experiencing the Bronx every day.
What can we expect in the immediate future?
So right now I'm working on another collection, and it's just an initial process. So I'm still, I'm inspired by a lot of things, and I'm trying to narrow it down, and I'm trying to collect fabrics and all of that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to putting together this collection and showing it to everyone. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Mr. Virgo, you've been enlightening, instructive, and inspiring, and I thank you for coming to see us today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, as always.